My sister slept with my BF and used her cancer to guilt me. AITA for cutting her off? So here's the deal, my stepsister went and got with my girlfriend and then tried to make me feel bad by bringing up her past with cancer, and now I'm wondering if I'm the bad guy for not wanting her in my life anymore. I mean, I'm a 25-year-old guy and my dad got hitched to my stepsister's mom, who was 23 at the time when I was just 4 years old and she was 3, so we basically grew up under the same roof our whole lives, and me and her were real tight, like best buds. You know, she got real sick with cancer when she was 14 and battled it for 2 years, but she pulled through and made a full recovery, thank God. Back then my folks got super protective of her, which I totally get, but they also leaned on me hard. I had to drop all my after-school stuff like sports and clubs to pick up a job so I could help pay for her doctor bills and drive her to all her appointments. I couldn't go to school dances or do anything fun unless she was there with me, and I was okay with most of it, I really was. Except for when they made me quit the volleyball team in high school. I'll admit I lost it a little over that one, threw a bit of a fit, but they shut that down quick and I got in trouble. Looking back, I think I handled it pretty well considering I only had that one meltdown under all that pressure. Anyway, I head off to college and that's where I meet this girl, I'll call her Beth. I was a junior and we hit it off big time, fell hard for each other, the whole deal. We moved in together after we graduated, and we'd been shacking up for about 3 years. Things were serious between us until one day in July I walk into our bedroom and catch her in bed with my stepsister. I was done right then and there, broke it off with Beth. We both cried a ton. She moved out and that was that. My stepsister said sorry at first, but then she just stopped talking to me. I figured she was giving me space to cool off, but then last week she calls me up and wants to meet. I agree, and she sits me down and tells me her and Beth are in love and they just wanted to let me know before they start sharing pictures of themselves online. I was gutted. I got up and walked out of that diner without paying my half of the bill. She sent me a message on that money app later asking for the cash she owed, and then she went and told our parents about it. They called me over to their place and laid into me saying they're ashamed of me for not being happy for my stepsister and Beth. They tried to say that since she had cancer as a teenager, she never learned how to act right around people and struggles to make friends. I ain't buying that one bit. I've seen her chat up folks just fine, and if that's true, then how come I don't have the same problem, seeing as we were together so much when she was sick? They doubled down and said if I don't get on board with my stepsister and Beth being together, they might have to cut me out of their lives completely. I told them I'm their son too and they ought to see my side of things, but they're dead set on thinking I'm just jealous of her. Let me set the record straight, I ain't jealous. I don't care that Beth chose her over me. I'm hurt about the breakup and I feel stabbed in the back, sure, but I don't want to be with someone who cheats on me. What's eating me up is that my stepsister picked Beth over me. She knew me and Beth were in a serious long-term relationship and still went for it, and she's still with her knowing how bad it's tearing me up now. My whole family won't even talk to me and I'm getting texts from my aunts, uncles, and cousins calling me a jerk and selfish. Just so you know, I put this story online and got a lot of feedback. I want to thank everyone who took the time to comment. It blew up more than I thought it would, and I can't keep up with all the messages, so if I don't reply to you personally, thank you anyway. It's given me a lot to chew on, to be honest. I've had times where I felt bitter about my teenage years, but I always thought I did right by my stepsister and my family, and it wasn't all bad. Me and her were super close and we tried to make the best of it. I never saw it as my parents dropping the ball or treating me wrong, but a lot of you pointed that out and now I've got some thinking to do. Thanks again for making me feel like I'm not losing my mind over this whole mess. Oh, and here's a little update. Sometimes you just gotta laugh. I just got off the phone with my cousin who saw my post online and said he had some info for me. I asked him why he's messing around on the internet instead of being at school, and he shot back asking why I'm on there instead of at work, and I told him I'm just venting to a friend named Shay. He told me that after I talked to my mom, she went over to his place and spoke with my aunt, and here's the kicker. Turns out my stepsister ain't just with Beth, but she's 4 months pregnant, which means they were messing around behind my back for way longer than I even thought. My parents are so hell-bent on me for giving her because they think I'm ruining their joy over their first grandkid. Apparently I matter less to them than my stepmom posting baby pictures online. That's where we're at right now, so I called in sick to work for the rest of the day and I'm planning to drink a whole lot of beer. I mean a whole lot, and then I'll try to figure out what in the heck I'm gonna do next. Oh, and another update, since some folks asked am I wrong for not being okay with my stepsister dating my ex even though she had cancer as a teenager. This is from October 6, 2021. I want to clear up a couple things. First, I didn't have a terrible childhood growing up. My parents only started playing favorites when my stepsister got sick. I moved out not long after that and I've been pretty much on my own since then. I'm not saying they did right by me back then, but I wasn't some kind of Cinderella or nothing. Also, I didn't get wasted like I said I would. I just had 2 beers, and I'm thankful for everyone who was worried about me. So here's what's new. I reached out to my stepsister and asked if we could meet up again, this time at a park so there wouldn't be a bill to worry about. I straight up asked her if she was pregnant and she admitted it was true. She told me she still wants us to be part of each other's lives and she even wants me to be around her kids. Someone online, I can't recall who, and I'm sorry about that, said she might ask me to be the kid's godfather, and they were spot on, but like a lot of you, warned me if I don't cut her off I'll just end up being her ATM and babysitter. So I told her I can't have her in my life anymore and I walked away, leaving her crying on that park bench. I felt like the worst person alive. I sent an email to my parents letting them know how betrayed I feel and that I'm done with them too. My stepmom, to her credit, said she was sorry. She told me she never thought my stepsister would live long enough to have kids and she let her feelings get the best of her, which I can understand. My dad didn't say a word, and that honestly hurt the most out of all this. Beth tried reaching out to me through a fake account for the first time since we split, but I blocked her without even reading it. I didn't go all out and blast the story on social media like some folks suggested, but I did email the family members I care about. I told them what's going on and that I'm stepping back from the family. Some of them turned it into an us against them thing, and while I'm grateful for the support, feeling like I'm in some big fight just wears me out. So I haven't been talking to hardly anyone in my family. I'm feeling pretty down and lonely, but I think I did the right thing. This ain't the most thrilling update, I know, but at least you all know I'm still kicking. I really appreciate all the support. It's put a smile on my face during this rough patch. And hey, if anyone in the greater Boston area wants an extra guest for Thanksgiving, hit me up. Folks asked for another update, so here's what's going on. As of November 24th, 2021, I'm spending Thanksgiving with a buddy and his family, so I won't be by myself. I'm grateful to everyone who offered to have me over. That was real nice of you. I still ain't talking to my family, but I heard Beth and my stepsister are having some issues. I know this because Beth showed up at my place and bawled his eyes out for 3 hours. I'm planning a trip to New Mexico in April and I'm getting things ready for that. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrates. Now here's something else I'm dealing with. I think my 26-year-old ex Beth, who's also 26, messed up my new relationship with another guy who's 27. This is from January 1st, 2022. To keep it short, my breakup with Beth last summer was a total disaster. She's now expecting a kid with my stepsister due in about 6 weeks. Since I found out about the baby, she's tried to reach me 6 times through email, texts, fake accounts, even got mutual friends to talk to me and showed up at my place once. That one time I actually listened to her. She said she was sorry, she still loves me, doesn't want to be with my stepsister and wants me back. I told her too bad, she made her choice and now she's gotta live with it. I haven't dated much since July because my life's been a mess, but in November an old college buddy reached out. We hadn't talked in years. He's 27. I'll call him my second ex for this story. He and Beth used to be close, but they fell out over some fantasy football drama the year after we graduated and I stopped talking to him to back Beth up anyway. We went on a date, hit it off, went on a few more, and by early December we were exclusive. I was feeling real good about it until this morning. I was supposed to meet my second ex at a New Year's party last night. He got there before me and texted saying Beth was at the party and asked if I still wanted to come. I said no and went to another friend's place instead. Had a decent time. I tried calling my second ex at midnight, but he didn't answer. I didn't think much of it, went to bed late, and when I woke up this morning I had a message from him saying we're through. I couldn't even reply because he blocked me everywhere. I talked to a friend who was at the party with them and he said my second ex and Beth spent a good while talking, but he didn't know what about. I don't really know anyone else who was there to ask. It was just a 2-month relationship, so I'm bummed but not devastated. But part of me is freaking out, wondering if Beth said something that made my second ex dump me. He's made it clear he don't want to talk to me and I don't want to push him, but I'm so confused. I could reach out to Beth, but I feel like that'll just stir up more drama. I could ask other friends if they heard anything, but I don't want to start rumors if it ain't true. I don't know what to do. I'm starting to think Beth is gonna ruin every relationship I ever have, and now I'm wondering if there's something wrong with me. This is from January 16th, 2022. Both my last 2 partners cheated on me. The first one with Beth was real serious. We lived together, talked about getting married and buying a house. One time she even took pictures of us as kids and edited them together to show what our kids might look like. It was creepy but funny, and I kept it as my phone background for a month. Then I walked in on her in our bed with my stepsister. Now she's pregnant due soon and they're together. I know she ain't happy. I know she regrets it. I know she loved me, but that didn't stop her from betraying me with my stepsister. I'd been so mad at my stepsister this whole time and just wrote Beth off as a mistake I wasted my time on, but now I'm missing what we had. Me and my stepsister grew up together, loved each other our whole lives, so her betrayal hit hard. But me and Beth, we picked each other out of everyone in the world. We looked into each other's eyes, promised to be true to each other, and she broke that promise over and over. Let me keep loving her while she was lying to my face. Then a few months back this other guy comes along and for The first time in a while I felt like I could move on. I wasn't in love with him, but I thought I could get there. We were together for about a month before we made it official. I told him all about what happened with Beth and how I couldn't handle being with another cheater. Then on New Year's Day I wake up to a text from him saying we're done. I tried to reach him, but he'd blocked me everywhere. Turns out he met someone at that New Year's party and hooked up with her. Instead of telling me, he just cut me off and sent a friend to give me some weak apology. Weeks later I want to be mad, and part of me is, but I keep thinking, what if it's me? What if I'm just not someone people can love? What if I'm never gonna find someone? I've always been a pretty confident guy. I went through some tough stuff as a kid, but I came out stronger. I'm decent looking even if I've put on a few pounds lately. People say I'm fun to be around. I've got a solid job, make good money. I live by my values, always put my family and partner first, because that's how I think it should be, and I thought they'd do the same for me. But I've lost most of my family because they'd rather have my stepsister's kid in their lives than me. My friends ain't been there for me either, and I know they're laughing behind my back even if they act like they feel sorry for me to my face. I feel like the fire I used to have is going out. I don't talk much in conversations anymore. I don't bother dressing up when I go out. I don't make plans so I don't get let down. Pretty soon I'll be the same age my mom was when she passed. I never knew her, but I've always felt close to her, imagining her looking down on me. I don't remember her funeral, but folks say there wasn't a dry eye there. She could light up a room. They say she was a great lady when I'm at my lowest. I wonder what would happen if I died right now. Would anyone cry? Would anyone care? Would anyone even show up? I'm sorry for going on so long. I just don't know what to do or who to talk to. If you listen to all this, thanks. Here's a small update from May 30th. 2022. Hey everyone, I figured stuff on the internet fades quick, but I keep getting asked for updates, so here's the deal. There ain't much to tell. I didn't end up going to New Mexico because I got sick the week I was supposed to go. The baby was born, but I haven't had any contact with the kid or their parents. I've done a good job keeping myself away from any news about them or the rest of my family. My life's pretty much the same as it was, so I'm sorry to those hoping for some big happy ending. Time keeps moving and I'm starting to feel numb to it all, which I guess is an improvement, but I ain't had any big life-changing moments, haven't met the love of my life or gotten some crazy revenge on the people who hurt me. I am going to Europe for the first time in October though, which I'm looking forward to. I will say this, I appreciate all the support and the strong words some folks used about my stepsister and Beth in my messages, but I'm asking you all not to waste your energy hating them. Their parents to a newborn now, and no matter what they did before, I hope they can be a happy family and raise their kid in a loving, healthy home. Holding on to hate don't do nobody any good, including ourselves. That's my non-update for now. I'll let you know if I meet the love of my life at the top of the Eiffel Tower, or more likely eating a bunch of waffles somewhere in Europe. Until then, just know I'm hanging in there, doing my best, and I'm real grateful for everyone out there who's heard my story and reached out, even if I haven't had the energy to reply to all of you. Here's another update from the comments on October 16th, 2022. Just wanted to give a quick, less gloomy update. I'm sitting in my hotel room in Paris right now, eating some fancy dessert in bed, reading a love story book, and I'm about to crash early. Everything's good. Here's the latest from September 9th, 2023. Hey there, it's been a while. I still get folks asking how I'm doing, and I'm up early with nothing to do, so I figured I'd let you know I'm doing alright. I've made a lot of good changes in my life and I'm in a way better place both in my head and my body than I was last year. To answer some questions, no, I ain't in touch with my family. The final straw came in spring 2022. My dad emailed me saying he wanted to grab lunch and talk. I've always had this dumb hope we'd work things out and get back to normal, so I said yes. I showed up at the restaurant and waited 2 hours. The waiter felt bad for me and gave me a free dessert with this sad look on his face, so I gave up and went home. Later my stepmom emailed me, probably with a bunch of excuses, but I didn't even read it. The good thing that came out of that was it made me realize I needed to get far away and not look back, so I did. I was always scared to move away from my family, but since I don't really have one anymore, I picked up and moved halfway across the country out of the blue. It was stressful and cost a lot, but I can say now it was one of the best choices I ever made. I ended up getting back in touch with an old friend and started hanging out with her crew. They're the best people I've ever met. I've never felt more safe or cared for, and I feel so lucky to have them in my life. Plus it's less humid where I am now, which is a big plus. One of those friends is a counselor and she helped me find a therapist I really get along with. It took a few tries. I didn't want someone who'd push cognitive behavioral therapy on me because that just ain't my thing, but I found someone I click with. I'm doing internal family systems therapy now and it's really changed how I see myself. It's helped me understand all the pain I've been carrying around and start healing. So you guys were right, I needed therapy. Pat yourselves on the back for that one. I also found out I've got depression and I'm on medication for it now. It was tough to accept at first because I always thought my worth came from being the happy guy who takes care of everyone, but I learned that sometimes when you don't get what you need as a kid, you turn into that happy guy because you're scared if you show you're upset even a little, no one will love you, and that's a lot to unpack. I also met a new girl and I know what you're thinking, I've got a bad track record with relationships, but I swear she's different. When I'm feeling down she don't get annoyed, she'll either just sit with me quietly on the couch or we'll go for a walk, or she'll say the funniest Stuff in a perfect Kermit the Frog voice until I'm laughing so hard I forget what I was sad about, and the best part, she's too busy painting little Dungeons and Dragons figures to even think about cheating on me, so I ain't worried. I did have to buy a pretty fancy Renaissance fair outfit which I never saw myself doing, but I'm having a blast. I'm gonna marry her someday. As for Beth and my stepsister, I hear they're still together. She tries to reach out every now and then through fake accounts, but I just ignore it. I'm still sad I won't be in my step-sibling's life, and I do miss my family a lot, but I know this is what's best for me. Sorry I don't have any juicy details about them. I know some of you are hoping for some big downfall story, but for me things are good, better than they were when I found out I was being cheated on. My life now is built on real happiness, not just pretending to be okay because I'm scared it ain't perfect and I've still got stuff to work through, but I'm proud of myself. And I think my mom would be too. That's my update. I think it's my last one, at least on this account. Thanks to everyone online for having my back and making me smile through some of the toughest and strangest times in my life. I hope you all find some internet strangers to root for you and offer to mess up the lives of the folks who do you wrong.